I got that on video, Ricky.
An army, clad in black, marching across the wastelands, routing army after army. You may think I'm talking about the Lord of the Rings and the armies of the Dark Lord Sauron. But no, I'm talking about the Islamic State of Iraq and Levant, also known as ISIS, IS, or ISIL. Today I'm going to talk about how they're so effective in subjugating and controlling territory and conquering and kicking all the other nations' booties around them. But before we start, I'm going to have to talk about the history of them, how they were founded, and why they're so effective. So basically, ISIS is an ultra-Sunni terrorist group, which Sunni is one of the two major sects of Islam. And they marry ideology and effective military tactics to create a well-funded terrorist group. And that's according to Mark Thompson. He wrote an article on them on Small Wars Journal. And the original founder of ISIS was Ayman al-Zawahiri. He was a person who originally had the idea of establishing an extremist Muslim caliphate in the Middle East. And that was founded somewhere in the early 2000s. And so ISIS was originally a break-off group from al-Qaeda in Iraq during the Iraqi insurgency there. And they fought the United States in the Iraq War under President Bush, and that's according to the BBC News. So they were steadily weakened until 2010 by the Sunni Awakening, which was part of the Iraq War and part of the surge of troops there. And up until 2010, when the man who's now in control of ISIS, Abu al-Baghdadi, took over. Abu al-Baghdadi is a very charismatic Muslim cleric / military general, and he's been able to effectively rule ISIS for a long time. And so, since then, Abu al-Baghdadi's been strengthening the forces of ISIS in Iraq and Syria in a fought and gained ground, even while alienating many other Muslim groups because of their extreme ideologies. And building on that, ISIS has been renounced by the al-Nusra Front and al-Qaeda in Iraq because of their brutality. And despite this, they've still captured large amounts of territory, including Fallujah and Mosul, two of the biggest cities in Iraq. Now, time to break down their use of social media and how they were able to attract recruits with it. Now, ISIS has been able to spread many pictures on social media, using it as a way of showing their atrocities to the world on a global stage. And it has tailored its recruiting image to sending different messages to many different parts of the world. And their posts are slick, very well made, and very ineffective in attracting recruits. And recently they beheaded multiple American, British, and French aid workers. And since the fall of Mosul, according to a CIA report, almost 2,000 Western recruits have come to ISIS. Gone to ISIS. Bad. And ISIS has been so effective in using their social media that many other Muslim extremist groups, including Boko Haram and Al-Shabaab, have been following their tactics. So now that we know that they've effectively used social media, we're going to talk about the actual foreign support from many donor states and their oil smuggling to bring in the dough. So ISIS has used magazines, social media, and many other ways to try and bring in the support, as earlier stated. And this has caused many foreign fighters who have fought in other wars, including Chechnya and Africa, and currently in Afghanistan and Iraq, or previously in Iraq, veteran foreign fighters. And also, they've been able to earn over $3 million in oil smuggling from territories conquered in Syria and Iraq, oil smuggling, selling them to shady characters. And it's even been suggested by some extremists that ISIS is a Sunni tool and that many Saudi and the Gulf states are supporting them, although this is not founded in much fact. Although, during the early days of the Civil War, according to Al Jazeera, ISIS has been funded by large donations from wealthy residents of the Gulf states. And Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi himself has received much training from veteran foreign military fighters. So now we know about ISIS is getting lots of support from social media and from foreign states. And they're able to combine this to be an effective fighting force. So that's a blank slide. And they've been able to gain much equipment. I'm just going to keep going. So ISIS routed multiple Iraqi army divisions, fought off many other armed forces, and fought the Syrian army effectively. And they've done this mainly with armed vehicles, machine guns, and AAA cannons, according to Mark Thompson, who's a retired lieutenant colonel and independent analyst. The ISIS military force, even though it consists of small vehicles, also has many veteran foreign fighters, as earlier stated. And it's an effective, robust supply chain that they're able to supply themselves very effectively from the back to the front. And Abdul Al-Baghdadi al-Baghdadi himself has embraced maneuver warfare very effectively, being able to outmaneuver and outfight many Iraqi and Syrian army divisions. And that's about it. In conclusion, social media, by using social media and gaining foreign support and being able to be an effective military fighting force, the Islamic State has been able to fight off many foreign forces, and to quote Johnny Rico from Starship Troopers, they've been able to fight and they've been able to win. All right.